Welcome back, guys. My name is Amanda. For those of you that are new to the channel, for those of you that have been here before, welcome back into family. Hello. We're getting straight to it today. We're making pizza dough, and we're going to make pizza, 3 different versions of pizza, but since I'm running out of time and I don't have a lot, we're just going to get right to it. So in my bowl, I've got 350 grams of warm water. I'm going to put the recipe in the dough into the description here as well. To that, I'm going to add about 10 grams of yeast, 25 grams of oil, around 10 grams of sugar. Flour, I'm going to use bread flour, and I'm going to use 580 odd grams, and I'm going to drop that in from an elevated height so that it loosens up the flour a little bit, or you can sift it in if you really want to. And then to that, I just need to add salt, about 15 grams of salt. All of that can then be mixed together either by hand or in a machine. I'm using the machine because I need to go out and feed the goats this morning, so I'm running a bit behind. So I thought I'd get the bread dough or the pizza dough started before I ducked outside quickly and just fed the livestock. So I'm just going to put that on to the mixer 5 minutes and come back. And once it's ready, I'll pop it out and we'll start making the next part of the recipe. Pretty simple. Okay, so in a bowl, I'm just going to put a little bit of oil just so that the dough can rise for a little while now that it's been kneaded in the dough machine, or if you've kneaded it by hand for 5 minutes, you'll find it's nice and silky and smooth. So that's what you're looking for, that it's ready to then come out and proof for another 30 minutes or so. I'm just going to put it in the oiled container with a lid on it and then just go outside and do another job quickly for another 30 minutes. The dogs need doing now, so I'll just duck outside and do those also, and then come back and start preparing our pizza dough. Simples. Alrighty, about half an hour's passed. The dough's risen. It's not a full double rise because it will proof again after we've shaped it. So I'm just going to put it out onto the surface, just rolling it back over itself a few times, just until you'll feel the change of the dough and it becomes really easy to handle. It's not sticky at all. I haven't had to add any extra flour or anything like that. The only other ingredient I'm going to use is some fine semolina, and that's just to coat the dough balls. And then when they crisp up in the oven, they'll be nice and golden and crispy. And it doesn't have any extra flour, so it's not all chalky. The dough that we've made will make 5 200-gram-ish balls. Each 200-gram ball is enough to do an individual person's pizza, or if you want to double to make a standard size, regular size pizza, you just use 2 of the balls. And for the ham and cheese pizza, I do add a second ball. I start off doing just a single, but then I change it up and add a second ball just to make it large enough to fit on the full 30 centimetre or 12-inch pizza pan that I'm using. I'm just using a standard oven pizza pan, not a pizza stone. Instead, the oven is a fan-forced oven, and it's cranked up to its full temperature that it can go to. So as hot as your oven can go. Just rolling the balls back on themselves to tension them. Each one of these is 200 grams, and then pinching the ends together and then sealing them back up by rolling them again. It's pretty simple, not hard to do. And then the dough is then rolled into some semolina, and then from here it will then go into another dish, again lined with some semolina, just so it can sit there until I'm ready to roll out my pizza doughs, or shape my pizza, I should say, because I'm not doing any rolling when it comes to doing a pizza dough, because that's not what you do. Alrighty, so this recipe came from a workplace 27 plus years ago, where we were trained by a particular company here in Australia on how to make pizzas for one of the big duopolies that were having a cafe installed in their supermarkets. So we were taught how to make pizza dough back in the day, and have been doing the same recipe ever since, because it's a very simple recipe to remember. The measurements when you're doing it by scoop, I should say, versus the measurements, but when you've done it 100 times a day for a year or two, you soon get used to remembering the numbers. So I'm just going to have some simple toppings. So always cheese is last, sauce is first. That's what we were taught. That's what we do. So these are our doughs. They've sat there for about 20 minutes. That's it, just while I did a few other bits and pieces. And so I just need to shape it out. I want to keep the crust on the outside still full of air. This is a really soft, beautiful dough. So I want to keep that air on the outside, so I'm not at all touching the sides of, or the edge of the pizza dough as I move it around. The weight of the dough will stretch the dough, so it will eventually become longer and thinner, and you should be able to almost see through the dough. It gets quite thin. Like I said, this one I've started off doing as an individual one, but then I changed my mind, decided, no, I'm going to do the big pizza tray for the ham and cheese one. So I end up adding a second ball to this dough and then press it into the pizza tray. So that's why it looks smaller here, because it is, that's a small pizza, just a standard size, individual serve, but then I pop it up onto a tray. This is a really good way to get it onto the tray, however, so this is the second roll of dough has been mixed in, so I've got a nice thick crust now as well. So I just put my pizza tray straight over the top and then fold the silicone tray over it and flip it. Done. Easy. Don't have to think about it. Alrighty, then we just shape it again, just pulling the crust back out again and pressing down with the tips of your fingers so you form that really nice ridged crust on the outside, which will develop air pockets and become nice and soft and light and fluffy, the way a pizza should be. Okay, you can stuff your crust if you want to stuff your crust. I'm using our salsa, not a pizza sauce, just the standard salsa that I make as well. I think there's a video here somewhere on the page on making this salsa. So this is a salsa. It's a little bit spicy. It's a little bit hot, but it's got a lot of goodness in it from fresh tomatoes, capsicums and stuff. Fresh ham, chopped up, easy. These packets were all on sale. They cost me 80 cents for a packet, which was enough to do all the pizzas, which is nothing. Cheese. 3 cheeses. It's a mozzarella, a pecorino, and a cheddar cheese. So a 3 cheese blend or a pizza cheese blend if you're going to use that as well. Again, these packets are about $6, and again, they did all 4 pizzas. No problems at all. That's our ham and cheese pizza in the oven. 15 minutes later, we've got a golden, beautiful ham and cheese pizza, which went down very well and disappeared very quickly for the guys in the household. That's pizza number 1. Chopped up. And then the second one, I've ended up folding those little triangles in half, folding them back on themselves, and look at that, well, it's pretty good. Folding it back on top of itself, so sandwiching the pizza on top of itself with the topping inside, and into the freezer they've gone. Okay, on to our next one. This is my pizza. So my pizza's a little bit different. I'm going to use all the ingredients that are on the shelves above me. So again, I'm just going to press out the pizza dough into a shape that's big enough for an individual pizza. And I'm going to use the salsa once again as my pizza sauce. And then I'm going to reach for ingredients that I've got on the canning shelf, which are a little bit different to what most people would be thinking that I'm going to be using. But, I like to do things a little bit different. I'm going to go out and get some fresh veggies from the garden. I've got 1 capsicum left from the bullhorn capsicums, and I've got some onions that have shot and gone green. So I'm just going to use the tops of the green onions as well. And I'm going to make myself a pizza. So we're just going to flick it over onto our pizza tray. Simple, this tray's still warm. It's not hot, but it's still warm. So I'm just going to, once again, shape the pizza to the size that I want it to be, making sure my crust on the outside is still nice and light and fluffy before I go and add all of my toppings to this pizza. And like I said, we're going to add the salsa once again, and just spreading the salsa from the center all the way out, but not all the way to the edge. You want to leave at least the crust without the pizza sauce exposed on it, because it will burn in the time that it's cooking in the oven, and there's nothing worse than having a burnt edge. I'm going to add my capsicums, just fresh capsicum straight out of the garden. It's nothing special, just some diced up capsicum over the top, and then the green onion tops. Like I said, I've just chopped up an onion that 2 onions had sprouted, so instead of the whole lot going into the compost bin, I've just snatched off the tops and just chopped them up. So these have cost me absolutely nothing so far. Then I've gone to the canning shelf and canned potatoes, as you do. So I'm going to crack open a jar of my canned potatoes. These are already cooked, which is why they can go on the pizza. So you want to use cooked ingredients if you can, or ingredients that are chopped up really small when you're cooking with the pizzas, because they don't cook for very long. It's 10 minutes, so that's not enough time to cook a potato. But to already have these jars of potatoes, which have been pressure canned for, I think these are 55 minutes from memory, don't quote me on that, but they've been pressure canned, and so they're already cooked. So they can just get broken up, sprinkled over the top. Favorite ingredient to use on the pizza is the bagel, everything bagel. So that's sesame seeds with some garlic and some onion as well, flakes. So that gets sprinkled on top, so that gives me a little bit more seasoning on top of the pizza as well. And then I need to, once again, salmon. Fresh salmon from the cans that are on the shelf again. So I'm just going to crack open a jar of the fresh salmon. That's been pressure canned as well, so it's cooked. It's been pressure canned for 100 minutes, so it's perfectly cooked and ready to go onto the pizzas. These were just done with salt and pepper. Perfect. That breaks apart and stays. It holds its shape, which is what's really good about salmon that we are pressure canning versus like canned salmon, which is really soft and mushy. This is not. It still holds its shape and texture, so it's perfect to put onto pizza. So I'm going to have myself a salmon and potato pizza. Yum. I am going to put some cheese on it, but not very much because I don't eat dairy very much. So I will just have a sprinkle of cheese onto mine, and then it can pop into the oven and I will cook it as well, and it will be yum. Like I said, just a sprinkle of the same cheese straight over the top, and then I can put this one into the oven as well and cook it for about 15 minutes again until it's lovely and golden and it's ready to come out as well. And using these pizza trays with all of the perforations, it cooks from inside as well, which is good. Okay, on to the two last doughs. So these two I'm actually going to be freezing, but I am going to par cook the pizzas. So the pizzas will be almost completely cooked, but not fully cooked. They would probably need another 3 or so minutes, maybe 5 minutes to finish cooking them. So I'm only going to be cooking them for about 10 minutes, but I'm still going to prep them exactly the same way. I'm just going to do a couple of meat lovers pizzas so that, or supreme, I guess, because there is veggies on it, supreme style pizza. And I'm just going to be cooking them individually for about 15 minutes, not 20, or 10 to 15 minutes. It depends on your oven, what it takes. I think these were 10 minutes when I cooked them, and just pressing down with your palm once again. I'm only just trying to make sure my edges stay nice and crispy on the outside. So I'm just working the dough from the middle. My hands are getting a little bit sore by this stage. I think we're up to pizza number 4 or 5 by now. So I just want to get the dough out. It's proofed as long as I would let this dough proof for. If you want to put it back in the refrigerator and slow it down, you can use this dough the next day. That's fine. It's a very forgiving dough. You can freeze it. Yes, you can. I don't, because I just find it easier to prep. The oven's on and I'm using the power now, and the solar is running my oven, so I might as well get the pizzas all cooked while I've got sunshine, because I don't know what tomorrow's going to be like. So I'd rather just cook the pizza dough today. But you can leave it in the fridge overnight and that will slow the proofing down, and then you can just take it out of the fridge the next day and just bring it back to room temperature. Give it about an hour or two, depending on whatever your ambient temperature is. We're still pretty cool here at the moment on the inside of the house. So it's just getting the pizza dough back to room temperature, and then you can use it the next day the same. If you're going to freeze it, same thing. You're just going to have to bring it out and let it freeze. It'll unfreeze. It'll take probably 4 or 5 hours to unfreeze before you can use it again, which is why I just think it's easier to make the dough. It's quicker to make the dough than just to wait for that to have defrosted. It's just me. But anyway, that's okay. I haven't got time to be fiddling around in the kitchen when I'm outside. So we're going to do capsicum. We've done our bagel, everything bagel mix once again in the bottom of these ones to add some seasoning. We've got our salsa mix that we're using for the pizza sauce. On goes the green tops. Once again, I'm hiding these from my son so he doesn't see them hiding under the sauce with everything else. So I'll just sprinkle those on. He doesn't even know that it's salsa. He just thinks it's pizza sauce. It's okay. He doesn't need to know. And then to that we'll add some ham, the last of the ham. So once again, I'm still using the same pack of ham of my 80 cents worth of ham. It's 250 grams, I think it was, but it was only 80 cents. It's one of our good branded hams, but they were all marked down on sale at the local produce store recently. So I grabbed 4 packs. These were also on sale. Cabanas, cheese cabanas. These packs were $2 a pack. So each of these are not getting a full cabana. They're getting about a quarter of a cabana added to them. 5 or 6 pieces, nothing more than that. Just over the top as well. And then on top of that, we'll add the cheese, and then into the oven they're going to bake as well for about 10 or 15 minutes, depending on the oven temperature, because I have opened it several times. But that's how quick and easy it is to make up the pizzas. I can stack them on top of each other once they're cooled, and then they can be put into a large Ziploc bag and then into the freezer they can go. This first pizza that I sliced up, I sandwiched its triangles because it was a larger pizza. I sandwiched its triangles and froze them in packs of the 2 triangles. And they're just easy to pull out and put in the microwave. Quick and easy meal as well. So these ones I'm just going to slide off onto the baking tray, onto the pizza tray. This is my salmon pizza. It's lovely. It's lovely and golden. Potatoes are nice and crispy. It tasted really nice. I had a third of it. I was full. That's all I could manage. But how good does that look? Yeah. It's a good looking pizza. Tastes beautiful. This is one of the first of the meat lovers pizzas coming out now. Or the supreme pizzas, I should say. And that one's done as well. And there's my second one. So they're going to cool on a baking tray for the next half an hour or so until they're fully cooled down before they then get packed into freezer bags and put into the freezer for quick and easy meals without me having to come inside to make anything. I'm actually going to be away tomorrow, so that's good. There will be food for anybody who's hungry. And as I said, we're preparing for school holidays, so my granddaughter's going to be coming up and helping, and she's also going to be making some pizzas as well. Quick, simple, easy thing to do. Gotta love a big pizza. Yeah, that's our pizza bake-up. Thanks for joining me. Do that recipe. It's not one of those clickbait recipes that doesn't work. It actually does work. So I wouldn't put it on if I didn't have it checked. Besides which, I've been using it for 20 plus years, so I know it works. But that's one of our main pizza store recipe doughs. They may have changed it in 27 years, but I highly doubt it. Alrighty. Thanks very much for joining me. Bye.